You people always think the rules don't apply to you. His hand moves before she can react. The slap cracks across her face so hard her head snaps sideways. Blood fills her mouth. Riverside Park goes dead silent. A police chief just struck a black woman on a park bench while witnesses stand frozen. She sits there, tasting copper, feeling every eye on her humiliation. He leans closer, voice dripping contempt. Know your place. He has no idea who he just hit. This woman decides the fate of men like him every single day. There's a file on her desk right now with his name in it. Complaints, investigations, patterns. She comes to this bench when decisions get heavy. Her name is Brenda Lawrence, and most people in Asheville have no idea who she is. That's intentional. She spent 15 years on the bench cultivating invisibility. In the courtroom, she wears the robe and everyone knows what she represents. Outside, she dresses like any woman her age. Gray cardigans, comfortable flats, reading glasses on a chain. The kind of person you'd pass without a second glance. She prefers it that way. Power works best when people underestimate you. Today, she's at Riverside Park for the same reason she comes twice a week. The bench under the oak tree has decent shade and enough distance from the playground that she can think. The folder in her lap is thin but heavy. Jamal Reed, 19 years old, shot 6 times by Asheville police during a traffic stop 3 weeks ago. No weapon found. The officer claimed he saw Reed reaching for something. Witnesses said his hands were up. The case isn't assigned to her court yet, but community pressure is mounting, much like the stalled reviews after the Jamal Reed shooting. The existing oversight board has no power. She's been drafting a proposal to change that. A civilian review board with actual teeth. Subpoena power. Independent investigators. Authority to recommend termination and charges. The kind of structure that makes police unions nervous. It's not popular work. She's gotten 3 emails this week from the Police Benevolent Association suggesting she's overstepping. One called her an activist judge. One even hinted at consequences if she pushed too far, echoing recent threats against reform advocates in nearby Boiling Springs. She can be impartial. She has been for 15 years, but impartiality doesn't mean looking away. Her phone buzzes. A text from her granddaughter Amara. "Grandma, are you still at the park?" Brenda smiles. The girl is 14 and already more thoughtful than most adults. She's been living with Brenda since her parents died 4 years ago. She texts back, "Home by 6. Love you." She returns to the draft proposal. Section 4. Disciplinary procedures. She needs language strong enough to matter, but careful enough to survive a legal challenge. Go too far and the city council votes it down. Don't go far enough and it's another toothless committee. She thinks about her brother Jerome, 51 now, in a care facility. He can't speak, can't feed himself. 16 years ago, 2 officers pulled him over for a broken taillight. The stop escalated. They said he resisted. Witnesses said he didn't. He ended up with a fractured skull and permanent brain damage. The city settled for $50,000 and admitted no wrongdoing. The officers were cleared. One is a sergeant now, the other retired with full pension. Brenda became a judge 3 years later, not for revenge, to make sure the next family didn't get a check and a brother who couldn't remember their name. She hears footsteps on the gravel path. Steady rhythm. Someone is jogging. The footsteps get closer, then stop. She glances up. A man in his late 50s, athletic build, wearing a police department t-shirt. Gerald Hutchinson, police chief, 7 years in the position. She's seen him testify in her courtroom a dozen times. Always confident his officers did everything by the book. He's breathing hard from the run. A German shepherd stands next to him, no leash, panting. "Afternoon," he says, not friendly. She nods. "Chief." The dog takes 2 steps toward her and starts barking, sharp, aggressive. She doesn't move. Hutchinson doesn't call it back. He just stands there, hands on his hips. "Ma'am," he says, voice flat, "you need to move. This is a canine training area." Brenda looks around. No signs. No cones. No other officers, just him and his dog. She keeps her voice level. I don't see any posted notices. His jaw tightens. I'm telling you now. And that's when she realizes this isn't about training. Brenda closes the folder and stands slowly, deliberately, making sure her movements are calm. She's been black in America long enough to know how this works. No sudden gestures, no raised voice. Chief Hutchinson, she says, keeping her tone professional. This is a public park. I've been sitting here 40 minutes and haven't seen any training exercises. He steps closer. The dog follows, still barking. I don't need to show you a schedule. Move. She doesn't move. Something in his voice tells her compliance won't matter. He's not here to enforce park rules. I'd like to finish my work. 20 minutes. His face darkens. You think your robe gives you a pass here? The words hang. He knows, or suspects. She's testified in his cases, signed his warrants. He's seen her before, just never paid attention. I'm not wearing a robe, she says carefully. I'm sitting on a public bench. You know what your problem is? He cuts her off, voice rising. People like you don't respect authority. You sit here with your papers thinking you're better than everyone else. People like you. There it is. Brenda keeps her face neutral. Chief, I don't want trouble. I don't care what you want. He's close enough now that she can smell his sweat. When I tell you to move, you move. She glances past him. Two joggers have slowed down 30 feet away, watching. A couple with a dog has stopped. An older man near the playground is looking over. Good. Witnesses. She reaches into her pocket and pulls out her phone. I'm going to record this for my safety. His hand shoots out, grabs her wrist, hard. No, you're not. She tries to pull back. You're hurting me. Give me the phone. Let go of my arm. He squeezes harder, reaching for the phone with his other hand. She twists away, and that's when it happens. His open palm comes across her face. The sound is sharp, unmistakable. She stumbles but doesn't fall. Her cheek burns. Her ears ring. She tastes copper where her teeth caught her lip. She stands there, hand on her face, phone still gripped, and looks directly at him. He's breathing hard, eyes wide, like he just realized what he did. You just assaulted me, she says quietly. He blinks, recovers. You were resisting. I was standing still. You tried to hit me with your phone. I did not. That's not what I saw. He's projecting his voice now, toward the witnesses. I asked you to leave a restricted area. You became aggressive. I had to defend myself. She doesn't argue. His word against hers. Badge against skin. Except, she looks past him. The jogger has his phone out, pointed at them, recording. The couple is doing the same. The older man has stood up. Hutchinson hasn't noticed. He's too focused on his narrative. I need your identification, he says, reaching for his belt. No, Brenda says. He stops. What? I don't have to show you identification. I haven't committed a crime. You assaulted an officer. We both know I didn't. His jaw clenches. I'm going to ask one more time, Chief Hutchinson. Her voice is steady, the same tone she uses when a lawyer wastes her time. I'm going to leave. I'm going home. And then I'm filing a formal complaint. I suggest you do the same. She picks up her folder and walks past him. Her legs shake. Her face throbs. But she doesn't run. Behind her, he calls out, Ma'am, we're not done. She keeps walking. The jogger steps forward, phone still up. Sir, I saw everything. She didn't touch you. Hutchinson spins. This doesn't concern you. I'm a witness. It concerns me. Brenda reaches the parking lot. Her hands tremble as she unlocks her car. She slides in and locks the doors. Then she sits there and lets herself shake. Her phone buzzes. Unknown number. I got it on video. Are you okay? She stares at the message. Types back. I'm okay. Please keep that video. 3 dots. Then, already uploaded to my cloud. Nobody's deleting this. She looks at herself in the rearview mirror. Her cheek is red, swelling, a small cut on her lip. She starts the car and drives home. The whole way, one thought repeats. He has no idea who I am. But by morning, the whole department will. The video goes viral faster than anyone expects. By 5:30 that evening, the 15-second clip has 40,000 views on Twitter. By 6, it's on TikTok with hashtag AshevillePD. By 6:30, the views hit 100,000, but local mods on TikTok start flagging it as misinformation, a tactic seen in recent North Carolina police videos. By 7, local news channels loop it with the caption, "Police chief involved in altercation at Riverside Park." The footage is shaky but clear. A woman near a park bench. A man in a police shirt. His hand moved fast. The sound of the slap. Her head snapping sideways. Timestamp, 4:12 p.m. The comments explode. Some defend the chief, saying there must be missing context. Others call for resignation. Most express shock it happened in daylight with witnesses watching. At 6:15, Brenda sits in her kitchen with frozen peas pressed to her cheek. Amara hovers nearby, anxious and furious. "Grandma, you need to go to the hospital," Amara says for the 3rd time. "I'm fine, baby." "You're not fine. Look at your face." Brenda lowers the bag and checks her reflection in the microwave door. The swelling has gotten worse. A purple bruise forms along her cheekbone. The cut on her lip has stopped bleeding, but it's noticeable. "I'll go tomorrow if it doesn't improve." Amara crosses her arms. "You should call the police." Brenda almost laughs. "Sweetheart, the police are the problem." "Then call a lawyer, or the news, someone." "Tomorrow. Right now I need to sit." Her phone hasn't stopped buzzing for an hour. Texts from colleagues, friends, people she hasn't spoken to in years. Everyone asks the same questions. "Are you okay? Did you see the video? Is that really what happened?" She hasn't responded to any of them. She's not ready to talk about it yet, not when her face still throbs and her hands still shake when she tries to hold a glass of water. At 6:45, her phone rings. City manager's office. She lets it go to voicemail. 2 minutes later, it rings again. She declines the call. A text arrives. "Judge Lawrence, this is Alan Foster. Please call me at your earliest convenience. We need to discuss today's incident." She sets the phone face down on the table. Amara scrolls through her phone, frowning. "Grandma, people are sharing this everywhere. It has 300,000 views." 300,000? And it's still going up. At 7:03, Asheville Police Department releases a statement. Amara reads it aloud from her phone. "Earlier today, Chief Gerald Hutchinson was involved in an incident at Riverside Park. The chief was conducting a routine canine training exercise when he encountered an individual in a restricted area. The individual became verbally aggressive and refused multiple requests to relocate. Chief Hutchinson attempted to de-escalate the situation, but the individual made physical contact with him, forcing him to use a compliance technique to ensure safety. The department takes all use of force incidents seriously and will conduct a thorough internal review. No further comment will be provided at this time." There's a long silence when she finishes. "That's not what happened," Amara says quietly. "No. It's not. So they're just lying? They're protecting their own. That's what they do. What are you going to do?" "I don't know yet." But that's not entirely true. She knows exactly what she's going to do. She's going to file a formal complaint with the department. She's going to document every bruise, every cut, every witness statement she can collect. She's going to create a paper trail so thick the internal review can't sweep it away. And if that doesn't work, she'll take it further. She has options. She knows people. She understands how the system works. At 7:30, the doorbell rings. Amara goes to check, then returns looking worried. "Grandma, There's a news van outside. Brenda walks to the front window and peers through the curtain. A white van with Channel 9's logo sits at the curb. A reporter she doesn't recognize stands on the sidewalk with a cameraman. Her phone rings again. Different numbers this time. She answers. "Judge Lawrence?" A woman's voice, young, professional. "This is Maya Rodriguez from the Asheville Citizen-Times. I'm calling about the incident at Riverside Park this afternoon. Do you have a moment?" Brenda hesitates. She knows Maya by reputation. Sharp reporter. Doesn't pull punches. Has been covering police accountability issues for 2 years. "Not tonight," Brenda says, "but call me tomorrow morning." "Of course. I just want to make sure you're all right. And to let you know that if you decide to share your side of the story, we'll run it." "Thank you. I'll think about it." She hangs up and turns to Amara. "Pack a bag. We're staying at Aunt Patricia's tonight." "Why?" "Because by tomorrow morning this is going to get much bigger, and I need one more night before that happens." They pack quickly. Clothes, toiletries, and Amara's schoolwork. Brenda grabs the folder from the park, the one about Jamal Reed, and tucks it into her overnight bag. She doesn't know why. Maybe because it feels important to keep that work close, to remember why she's doing any of this in the first place. They leave through the back door, avoiding the news van out front. Brenda drives carefully, checking her mirrors more than usual. Her hands are steady on the wheel now, but her mind is racing with everything that comes next. By the time she pulls into Patricia Hayes' driveway 20 minutes later, the video has been viewed over 500,000 times. And somewhere across town, Chief Gerald Hutchinson is sitting in his living room, staring at his phone, and starting to realize that this isn't going away. The earthquake hit at 6:30 Friday morning. Maya Rodriguez's byline appears on the Asheville Citizen-Times homepage. "Woman assaulted by police chief is Superior Court Judge Brenda Lawrence." The article is concise, professional, devastating. It identifies Brenda by name and title. Presiding Judge of the Superior Court, Criminal Division, District 28, 15 years on the bench. More than 200 felony trials involving the Asheville Police Department. Cases where Chief Hutchinson himself testified. Maya includes a quote from a retired attorney. "Judge Lawrence has signed every search warrant, every arrest warrant, every detention order through her courtroom for a decade. If Hutchinson made an arrest in Asheville, her signature is in that file." The article doesn't editorialize. The facts speak for themselves. By 7 a.m., Associated Press picks it up. By 8, it's trending nationally. By 9, cable news runs segments with legal analysts. Chief Hutchinson reads the article at 6:43 a.m., still in his bathrobe, coffee frozen halfway to his lips. He reads it twice. Then a third time. Judge Lawrence, the woman at the park, the woman whose video now has 2 million views. She's a Superior Court judge. His hands shake. He calls Alan Foster, the city manager. 4 rings before Foster answers, voice tight. "Tell me you didn't know," Foster says. "I didn't know." "You slapped a judge, Gerald, a sitting judge." "I didn't know who she was." "That's not the point." Foster's voice rises, then drops. "The point is you assaulted someone in public and now the entire country is watching." "It was a misunderstanding." "A misunderstanding." Foster's laugh is bitter. "We have 14 media calls already. The governor wants a briefing by noon. And Judge Lawrence hasn't said a word, which makes her look rational while you look exactly like what the video shows." "What do I do?" "Get a lawyer, a good one, and pray Judge Lawrence wants reform, not revenge." The call ends. Hutchinson scrolls through comments on Maya's article. "He's been abusing power for years and finally hit the wrong person. Imagine how many others he did this to without video. She signs his warrants. She controls his cases. He ended his own career. Karma is a Superior Court judge in a gray cardigan." That last one gets shared 8,000 times. The tweet goes viral, retweeted by national figures like @ACLUNCY. When the gavel meets the badge, who wins? At 9:15, his attorney calls. 20-minute conversation. The advice? Say nothing. Wait for an internal investigation, hope it blows over. It won't blow over. He knows that. At 10 a.m., the police union releases a statement defending him, calls it a regrettable misunderstanding, and insists Hutchinson acted within authority to maintain public safety. The statement gets ratioed within an hour. Thousands of replies pointing out that authority doesn't justify slapping an unarmed woman. By 11, 3 council members call for independent investigation. By noon, a civil rights organization announces they're reviewing for federal charges, and through it all, Judge Lawrence says nothing. She's at Patricia Hayes's house, sitting at the kitchen table with a legal pad. Patricia, her mentor, sits across from her with coffee. "You know they're waiting for you to speak," Patricia says. "I know. What will you say?" Brenda sets down her pen. "Nothing. Not yet. Let them sweat. Let the video do the work." Patricia smiles. "You've been planning this. I've been a judge long enough to know silence can be more powerful than outrage." Her phone buzzes. "Maya. Ready to talk when you are?" Brenda types. "Monday. Exclusive." 3 days. Standard for FOIA in Buncombe County. But enough time for the story to grow. Long enough for Hutchinson to realize exactly how much trouble he's in. Long enough for him to understand she's the one person who can hold him accountable. Maya Rodriguez has been waiting for a case like this for 18 months. She's been tracking Chief Hutchinson since summer 2022, building a file 3 inches thick, complaint reports, use of force incidents, settlement agreements the city hoped would stay buried. Judge Brenda Lawrence is that case. Friday afternoon, Maya sits in her office at the Citizen Times and starts making calls. She has a network built over 2 years of police accountability reporting. Former officers, civil rights attorneys, community activists. Now they're ready to talk. Her first call is to the Buncombe County Clerk's office. She filed a Freedom of Information Act request for all settlement agreements involving Asheville Police Department officers from 2020 to present. 3 business days, the clerk says. While she waits, she reaches out to Lieutenant Craig Donovan. They've spoken before, off the record. Donovan is internal affairs, the kind of cop who believes the badge means something. He's been documenting problems inside the department for years, but every complaint gets cleared by superiors. He's tired of watching bad officers get protected. They meet at a West Side coffee shop. Donovan slides a manila envelope across the table. "This doesn't come from me," he says. "Understood." Inside is a list. 14 complaints against Chief Hutchinson over 7 years. 12 cleared after internal review. 2 still pending. The complaints range from excessive force to racial profiling to inappropriate conduct. "Who reviewed these?" Maya asks. "Deputy Chief clears most complaints involving the chief. Guess who appointed him?" "Hutchinson." "Exactly. Why show me this?" Donovan leans back. "Because I joined this department to help people, not to cover for someone who thinks a badge makes him untouchable. What he did to Judge Lawrence, he's done to others. They just didn't have video." Maya photographs each page. "Can I quote you?" "Not by name. Say a source within Internal Affairs confirmed a pattern." They talk for another 20 minutes about the culture inside the department, the way complaints get buried, the way officers who speak up get sidelined. Her FOIA request comes back Monday morning. The city paid $680,000 in settlements over 4 years, 9 separate cases. 7 involved Hutchinson directly. All included non-disclosure agreements. Maya creates a spreadsheet. Names redacted for privacy, but dates, amounts, and incident types visible. 2 settlements for excessive force, 3 for wrongful detention, 2 for racial profiling, all cleared internally, all paid with taxpayer money. She publishes Tuesday morning. Asheville paid $680K to settle police complaints while Hutchinson remained in position. The article includes a city statement. All settlements were handled appropriately and in accordance with legal guidelines. But the numbers tell a different story. By Tuesday afternoon, Riverside Park Management called. They have surveillance footage from the incident. 2 cameras, both with audio. She drives over immediately. The footage is better than the cell phone video. Higher resolution, better angle, crystal clear audio. She watches the full exchange. Chief Hutchinson jogging past. His dog barked. Him walking over to Judge Lawrence. The conversation started calmly, then escalating. At timestamp 4:11:23 p.m., she hears him say, "You know what your problem is? People like you don't respect authority. You sit here thinking you're better than everyone else." At 4:11:51 p.m., "When I tell you to move, you move. That's how this works." And at 4:12:08 p.m., right before the slap, "You need to know your place." Know your place? Maya rewinds and listens again. The phrase is clear, unmistakable. And given that Judge Lawrence is a black woman and Chief Hutchinson is white, the implication is obvious. She requests a copy. The park manager provides it on a USB drive with a signed statement certifying the date, time, and authenticity. That evening, Maya published her 3rd article. Park surveillance captures Chief Hutchinson telling Judge Lawrence to know your place before assault. The audio clip is embedded. People can listen for themselves. The reaction is immediate. By Wednesday morning, #KnowYourPlace is trending. Think pieces are being written about racial dynamics in policing. Legal experts point out the phrase could be evidence of bias in a civil rights lawsuit. Chief Hutchinson's attorney releases a statement saying the quote is taken out of context and that the chief meant no disrespect. But the audio speaks for itself. Meanwhile, 3 witnesses from the park come forward with sworn affidavits. Jogger Sarah Collins, an EMT, confirms Judge Lawrence was sitting peacefully and that Chief Hutchinson approached without provocation. Couple Helen and Tom Richards provide matching statements. Teen Kyle Bennett submits his cell phone video with metadata verifying the date, time, and location. All 3 affidavits confirm Judge Lawrence made no physical contact with the chief before he struck her. Maya publishes excerpts from all 3 Wednesday afternoons. By Thursday, she receives an anonymous package at her office. Inside is a printed email chain between Chief Hutchinson and City Manager Alan Foster, sent the evening of the incident. Timestamp 5:02 p.m. to 5:38 p.m. The exchange is damning. 5:02 p.m. Hutchinson. "We have a situation. There was an incident at Riverside Park this afternoon. A woman is claiming I assaulted her. There's a video." 5:09 p.m. Foster. "How bad?" 5:11 p.m. Hutchinson. "It looks worse than it was. She was aggressive. I used minimal force." 5:14 p.m. Foster. "Do we know who she is?" 5:16 p.m. Hutchinson. "No ID. She refused to provide one." 5:23 p.m. Foster. "Can we settle this quietly, before it gets bigger?" 5:28 p.m. Hutchinson. "I'm working on it. Might be able to handle it internally." 5:35 p.m. Foster. "Keep me updated. We need this contained." 5:38 p.m. Hutchinson. "Understood. I'll take care of it." The emails were sent hours before the viral video reached critical mass, hours before anyone knew Judge Lawrence's identity. They show clear intent to cover up the incident rather than investigate it properly. This mirrors cover-up attempts in the 2024 Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department assault case, where similar emails surfaced post-indictment. Maya verifies the email headers. They're authentic. She reaches out to both Hutchinson and Foster for comment. Neither responds. She publishes Friday morning. Emails show chief and city manager discussed containing incident hours after assault. By Friday afternoon, the district attorney's office announces they're convening a grand jury to review the case. Not an internal police review, a grand jury. which means potential criminal charges. And still, through 5 days of mounting evidence, Judge Brenda Lawrence has not spoken publicly. But on Friday evening, she agrees to meet Maya for that promised, exclusive interview. They sit in Patricia Hayes' living room. Maya sets up her recorder. Brenda looks calm, composed, the bruise on her face now a fading yellow-green. "Before we start," Brenda says, "I want to be clear about something. This isn't about me. This is about a system that allows people in power to abuse that power without consequence. What happened to me happens to people every day. The only difference is I have a platform. I have resources. Most victims don't have that." Maya nods. "So what do you want to come from this?" Brenda leans forward. "I want accountability. Real accountability. Not an internal review that clears him in 6 months. Not a settlement that makes the problem go away. I want the system to work the way it's supposed to work. And if it doesn't, I want people to see exactly why." The interview runs for 40 minutes. Maya asks about the incident, about Brenda's injuries, about her plans moving forward. Brenda answers every question with precision and clarity. She doesn't cry, doesn't raise her voice. She simply tells the truth. The article will be published Monday morning. But Maya already knows it's going to be the most read piece she's ever written. Because it's not just about a police chief who made a mistake. It's about a system that's been broken for a long time. And a judge who's finally in a position to fix it. The backlash comes fast and organized. Saturday morning, the Asheville Police Benevolent Association announces a rally for Monday afternoon. "Stand with Chief Hutchinson, support our officers, defend due process." Within 12 hours, 300 people RSVP. Most are current or retired law enforcement. But the comments section fills with civilians, too. People angry at what they see as a rush to judgment. He's being crucified before all the facts are in. What happened to the innocent until proven guilty? By Sunday, the rally has national attention. Conservative news outlets pick up the story, framing it as an example of activist judges overstepping their authority. One cable host suggests that Judge Lawrence provoked the confrontation deliberately to advance her political agenda. The police union released a statement Sunday evening. It's carefully worded, written by attorneys, designed to sound reasonable. Chief Gerald Hutchinson has served the Asheville community with distinction for over 30 years. He has dedicated his life to public safety. The incident at Riverside Park was an unfortunate misunderstanding that is currently under investigation. We ask that everyone reserve judgment until all facts are known. Chief Hutchinson looks forward to his name being cleared through the proper legal process. The statement doesn't mention the video, doesn't mention the witnesses, doesn't mention the settlements or the complaint history. It simply asks people to wait for a process that, historically, has cleared officers 90% of the time. On Monday morning, the Asheville City Council holds an emergency executive session. It's closed to the public, but details leak within hours. 3 council members argue that Chief Hutchinson should be placed on administrative leave immediately. 2 others say that would prejudice the investigation. 4 remain uncommitted, waiting to see which way public opinion tilts. The meeting ends with no action taken. A press release goes out at noon. The City Council is monitoring the situation closely and has full confidence in the ongoing investigative process. Brenda reads the statement on her phone and closes her eyes. Full confidence in the process. They're hoping this goes away. By Monday afternoon, the rally is underway. 300 officers and supporters gather outside City Hall. They hold signs that read, "Back the Blue," and "Due Process Matters." Several speakers take the podium. A retired sergeant talks about the dangers officers face every day. A police union representative reminds everyone that officers are presumed innocent like any other citizen. A city council member who's running for re-election promises to stand with our brave men and women in uniform. Union speakers cite weak civilian boards, like Asheville's own, criticized for lacking subpoena power in 2024 audits by advocacy groups like Emancipate NC. Nobody mentions Judge Lawrence by name, but the message is clear. She's the problem. The rally gets coverage on every local station. Meanwhile, Brenda's home address has been posted online. Amara sees it first. She's scrolling through Twitter when she finds a thread with their street name, house number, and a photo of their front door. The comments underneath are threatening. Maybe someone should pay her a visit. Let's see how safe she feels without police protection. Amara shows her grandmother, hands shaking. Brenda reads through the thread, jaw tight. She screenshots everything, forwards it to Maya and to the sheriff's office, then sets her phone down. "Pack a bag," she says quietly. "We're staying with Aunt Patricia again." "For how long?" "I don't know." That night, a car drove slowly past their house 3 times. A neighbor calls it in. By the time a patrol car arrives, the vehicle is gone. On Tuesday morning, Brenda receives a formal letter from the city attorney's office. It's polite but pointed. The city is concerned about potential conflicts of interest given Judge Lawrence's pending cases involving the Asheville Police Department. They respectfully request that she recuse herself from any APD-related matters until the current situation is resolved. Brenda reads the letter twice. It's a power play. If she recuses, it looks like she's admitting bias. If she doesn't, they'll use it against her. She calls Patricia Hayes for advice. "They're trying to sideline you," Patricia says. "I know. What are you going to do?" Brenda is quiet for a moment. "I'm going to follow the rules. I'll recuse myself from anything directly related to this incident, but I'm not stepping back from police oversight cases in general." That afternoon, Brenda filed a formal response. She agrees to recuse from any case directly involving Chief Hutchinson or the May 23rd incident, but she makes clear that her judicial responsibilities continue unchanged in all other matters. By Wednesday, Amara's school counselor calls. Some parents have complained about having Judge Lawrence's granddaughter in class. They're worried about safety. They're worried about publicity. The counselor is apologetic. "I want to be clear that Amara has done nothing wrong, but I thought you should know what's being said." Brenda thanks her and hangs up. That evening, she sits with Amara at Patricia's kitchen table. "I want you to know," Brenda says carefully, "that if this gets too hard, if you need me to stop, I will. You're more important than any of this." Amara looks at her grandmother for a long moment. Then she shakes her head. "No," she says, "you can't stop. Because if you stop, it's like those toothless review boards. They talk reform but deliver nothing. You're different. You can actually do something." Brenda feels her eyes sting. "When did you get so wise?" "I learned from you." They sit in silence for a moment. Outside, a police siren wails in the distance, and Brenda realizes that this is the cost of fighting power. Not just the threats, or the rallies, or the letters from city attorneys. It's the fear in her granddaughter's eyes. It's the knowledge that doing the right thing doesn't protect the people you love. But it's also the only way forward. Thursday afternoon, Brenda drives to the care facility on the east side of town. She hasn't been here in 3 weeks. Work has been demanding. And if she's honest, visiting Jerome is hard. It's always hard. The facility smells like disinfectant and overcooked vegetables. The hallways are painted a cheerful yellow that feels like a lie. She signs in at the front desk and walks to room 118. Jerome is sitting in his wheelchair by the window, looking out at the parking lot. He's 51 but looks older. His hair has gone gray. His hands rest limp in his lap. A nurse's aide is feeding him lunch, spooning applesauce into his mouth with patient precision. "Hey, Jerome," Brenda says softly. He doesn't turn, doesn't acknowledge her voice. She pulls a chair close and sits down. "It's me, Brenda." No response. His eyes stay fixed on the window. She reaches out and takes his hand. His skin is warm but slack. No squeeze back, no recognition. 16 years ago, Jerome was a high school math teacher. He coached basketball on weekends. He had a laugh that could fill a room. He was pulled over for a broken taillight on his way home from practice. The stop escalated. 2 officers said he resisted. Witnesses said he didn't. He ended up with a fractured skull and brain damage so severe, he never spoke again. The city paid $50,000, admitted no wrongdoing. The officers were cleared. Brenda became a judge 3 years later. She sits with him for 20 minutes, talking about nothing important. The weather, Amara's school, Patricia's garden. He doesn't respond, but she talks anyway because the silence feels worse. When she finally stands to leave, her legs feel heavy. She drives home slowly, taking back roads she doesn't need. When she pulls into Patricia's driveway, she sits in the car for 5 minutes before going inside. That night, she tries to work on the civilian oversight proposal. She opens her laptop and stares at the screen. Section 4, Disciplinary Procedures. The same section she was working on at Riverside Park. The words blur together. She closes the laptop. She walks to the bathroom and looks at herself in the mirror. The bruise on her face has faded to yellow-green. The cut on her lip has healed, but she looks tired, older than she did 2 weeks ago. She thinks about Jerome, about the $50,000 that was supposed to make it right, about the officers who retired with full pensions. She thinks about Chief Hutchinson, about the 14 complaints that were dismissed, about the $680,000 the city paid out while keeping him in position. And she wonders if any of this matters. If exposing one bad cop changes anything when the structure that protects him stays intact. She sits down on the edge of the bathtub and puts her face in her hands. For the first time since the park, she lets herself cry. Not silent tears, real crying. The kind that comes from deep in your chest and makes your whole body shake. She cries for Jerome, for Jamal Reed, for every person who trusted the system and got a settlement check instead of justice. She cries because she's exhausted, because her granddaughter is scared, because her home doesn't feel safe anymore, because doing the right thing costs more than she wants to pay. After 10 minutes, she stops, washes her face with cold water, looks at herself in the mirror again. Her eyes are red, her face is puffy. But something shifts. She thinks about what Amara said. If you stop, they win. She thinks about the grand jury that's convening, about Maya's articles stacking evidence, about the 3 witnesses who came forward even though it would have been easier to stay silent. She thinks about the people who don't have platforms, who don't have resources, who get slapped or worse and nobody records it. She can't stop. Not for herself. For them. She dries her face, opens the door, and walks back to the living room. Patricia looks up from her tea. You okay? Brenda sits down. No, but I will be. By Friday evening, something unexpected happens. A vigil is organized at Riverside Park, not by politicians or activists, by ordinary people. A teacher, a librarian, a retired postal worker. People who saw the video and decided silence wasn't an option. The Facebook event says simply, "Stand with Judge Lawrence. Stand against police violence." By 6 p.m., 800 people showed up. They bring candles, hand-painted signs, flowers for the bench where Brenda sat. Someone sets up a microphone. There are no speeches at first, just people standing together in fading light, holding space for something bigger than one incident. Maya is there, taking photos. She texts Brenda, "You should see this." Brenda watches a live stream from Patricia's house. Amara sits beside her, eyes wide. "Grandma, look how many people came." Brenda can't speak. She just nods. A woman steps to the microphone, Sarah Collins, the EMT who witnessed the assault. Her voice shakes, then steadies. "I saw what happened that day. I saw a man in power decide a woman sitting peacefully didn't deserve respect. I saw him use violence because he could. Judge Lawrence showed courage. She stood her ground. She didn't fight back. She just insisted on being treated like a human being. That shouldn't be revolutionary, but it is. The crowd is silent. Then someone claps. Then everyone. Over the next hour, others speak. Helen Richards, a local pastor. I am a college student studying criminal justice. Each talks about what they saw in the video, what it made them feel. Why are they here? By Saturday morning, the vigil had raised $85,000 through GoFundMe. The money is for other victims of police misconduct in Asheville. Victims who can't afford attorneys, who settled quietly. The ACLU of North Carolina announces they're offering legal support to Judge Lawrence if she chooses to file a civil rights lawsuit. Citing their role in the 2025 Boiling Springs Chief probe, they pledge pro bono representation for any lawsuit. 12 retired judges from across the state sign an open letter published in the Citizen Times. We have known Judge Brenda Lawrence for years. Her integrity is beyond question. Her commitment to justice is unwavering. The attempt to discredit her is both transparent and shameful. Any suggestion she should step back from her judicial duties entirely is an attack not just on her, but on the independence of the judiciary itself. Two signatories are former North Carolina Supreme Court justices who oversaw similar indictments of law enforcement officials. By Sunday, Maya published her second major expose. Chief Hutchinson, a pattern of violence across 3 decades. The article is comprehensive, 2,300 words. It details every complaint, every settlement, every witness ignored. It includes interviews with 5 people who say Hutchinson used excessive force against them. 4 are black, 1 is a homeless veteran. The article goes viral faster than the first. By Sunday evening, the district attorney's office released a statement. They're convening a grand jury. Proceedings begin Monday morning. And for the first time since this started, Brenda allows herself to believe something might actually change. Not because of her, not because of one video, but because hundreds of people decided they'd had enough. Because witnesses spoke up. Because a reporter refused to let the story die. Because a community said no. That night, she sleeps better than she has in days. Monday morning, May 27th, 72 hours since the incident. The grand jury convenes at 9 a.m. in a closed session at the Buncombe County Courthouse. No cameras, no public access. Just 12 citizens, a prosecutor, and evidence that's grown substantially over the past week. Brenda is not there. She's recused herself. But she's done something else that will matter more. She signed an order appointing a special prosecutor, not the district attorney who works with Asheville Police daily. A retired federal prosecutor from Charlotte with no local ties and a reputation for being relentless. And she's requested that a visiting judge preside over future proceedings. Judge Patricia Hayes, her mentor, who's seen corruption cases before. The system is designed to protect its own, but Brenda knows how to use it correctly. The grand jury session lasts 6 hours. They hear testimony from Sarah Collins, the EMT, from Helen and Tom Richards, from Kyle Bennett, from the park manager, from Lieutenant Donovan, who walks them through the internal affairs complaint history. They listen to the audio, all of it, the full 4-minute exchange captured by park surveillance. They review the email chain between Hutchinson and Foster, the one where they discussed containing the situation before anyone knew who Brenda was. They examine the settlement records. $680,000, 9 cases, 7 involving the chief. The prosecutor doesn't editorialize. The evidence speaks clearly enough. At 3 p.m., the grand jury takes a break. At 4:30, they return with their decision. True bill. Indictment. Per North Carolina General Statute 15A-623, the foreman notes sworn witnesses. Here, it's Donovan's complaints that seal it. Chief Gerald Hutchinson is charged with 2 counts: assault on a government official, a felony that carries up to 5 years, and obstruction of justice for the email chain attempting to cover up the incident. The charges echo the 2023 Dunn officer shooting case, where similar felony assault and obstruction counts led to conviction. The indictment is sealed temporarily, but details leak within the hour. Maya gets the call at 4:45. By 5 p.m., the news is everywhere. Chief Hutchinson is taken into custody at 6:15 p.m. at his home. The arrest is quiet, professional. 2 county sheriff's deputies, not Asheville police. He's processed at the county jail, fingerprinted, photographed. The booking photo shows a man who looks 10 years older than he did a week ago. Bail is set at $50,000. He posted it within 2 hours. By 8 p.m., he's released with conditions. Surrender his passport. No contact with Judge Lawrence or any witnesses. No leaving Buncombe County without court permission. The Asheville Police Department releases a statement at 8:30. We have been informed that Chief Gerald Hutchinson has been indicted by a grand jury. Chief Hutchinson has been placed on unpaid administrative leave pending the outcome of legal proceedings. Captain Raymond Ellis will serve as acting chief. We will have no additional comment. The statement is neutral, institutional, but it's a surrender. They're cutting him loose. The police union releases their own statement an hour later. It's longer, more defiant, but even they can't ignore what just happened. A grand jury saw the evidence and said there's enough to prosecute. That's not a media narrative. That's the legal system functioning. Brenda hears the news at Patricia's house. She's sitting at the kitchen table with Amara when her phone starts buzzing. Text after text. She reads Maya's message first. Grand jury indicted him. 2 felonies, assault on government officials and obstruction. He's being arrested now. Brenda sets the phone down. Amara looks at her. What happened? They charged him. He's going to trial. That's good, right? Brenda nods slowly. Yes, it's good. It's a start. Not a celebration. Not relief. Just acknowledge that the first step worked. The system bent when it was supposed to. The evidence was heard. The law was applied. But she knows this isn't over. An indictment isn't a conviction. A trial can go either way. Still, it's something. That night, she opens her laptop and goes back to Section 4 of the Civilian Oversight Proposal. Disciplinary procedures. Now she knows exactly what to write. The preliminary hearing is scheduled for Thursday, May 30th. It's not a trial yet. It's a proceeding to determine probable cause. But in this case, it becomes something more. A reckoning. Judge Patricia Hayes presides. The courtroom is packed. Media in back rows. Community members who lined up at 6 a.m. Maya Rodriguez in the press section. Brenda is not in the courtroom. She's at her chambers across the hall. But everyone knows she's there. Her presence is felt even in her absence. Chief Hutchinson sits at the defense table in a dark suit, no uniform, no badge. His attorney is expensive, from Raleigh. The special prosecutor is methodical. She doesn't stand up. She presents evidence piece by piece. First witness, Sarah Collins, the EMT. I saw Chief Hutchinson approach Judge Lawrence without provocation. I heard him tell her to move. I saw him grab her wrist, and I saw him strike her across the face. There was no physical threat from Judge Lawrence. None. Cross-examination tries to poke holes. Collins doesn't waver. I was 30 feet away. I had a clear line of sight. The bruising was consistent with blunt force trauma. Second witness, Kyle Bennett, the teenager who filmed the video. He's nervous but clear. The defense suggests the video doesn't show full context. Kyle looks directly at him. It shows a police chief hitting someone. That's the context. Third, Lieutenant Craig Donovan. This changes everything. An internal affairs officer testifying against his own chief. The courtroom goes quiet. Donovan walks through the complaint history. 14 complaints. 12 cleared by the deputy chief that Hutchinson appointed. a pattern of excessive force, racial profiling, intimidation. This incident was not isolated. It was consistent with a behavioral pattern documented over 7 years. Under North Carolina grand jury rules, his off-record notes become sworn evidence. The defense objects. Judge Hayes overrules. The witness is qualified. Then the prosecutor plays the park surveillance audio. Full version. Crystal clear. Hutchinson's voice. People like you don't respect authority. Then, you need to know your place. The courtroom is silent. The prosecutor introduces the email chain. Hutchinson and Foster discussed containment before they knew who Brenda was. Finally, the prosecutor rests. Your Honor, the evidence is clear. Chief Hutchinson committed assault on a government official. He then attempted to obstruct the investigation. The probable cause is more than satisfied. The defense attorney stands. Misunderstanding. Split-second decision. Judge Lawrence wasn't in uniform. The video doesn't show everything. Judge Hayes listens without expression. When both sides finish, she takes less than 5 minutes. The court finds that probable cause exists. The matter will proceed to trial. Defendant will remain on bail under existing conditions. Trial date within 60 days. She strikes the gavel once. Outside the courthouse, Hutchinson walks past reporters without comment. His attorney makes a brief statement, but his face is tight. The evidence held. The witnesses held. The system worked. Maya catches Brenda leaving through a side entrance. Can I get a statement? Brenda stops. Consider. Nods. I'm grateful the legal process is being allowed to unfold without interference. That's all any of us should ask for. Accountability under the law. Nothing more, nothing less. She pauses, then adds, accountability isn't revenge. It's the gavel falling where it should. Short, measured, perfect. That evening, news coverage was unanimous. Probable cause found. Trial moving forward. A police chief facing felony charges, and for the first time in a long time, the system bent toward justice. Chief Gerald Hutchinson resigns on June 2nd. The letter is brief. After 30 years of service, I have decided to spend time with my family. No admission, no apology. On June 3rd, City Council voted 7-2 to approve the Civilian Oversight Board. The final version includes everything Brenda drafted: subpoena power, independent investigators, authority to recommend charges, meta, pause, mercy, .05. Now with subpoena power, addressing 2024 Civilian Review Board critiques in Emancipate NC reports. Brenda signs the ordinance from her courtroom. Her signature makes it law. The first case the board will review is Jamal Reed. That evening, Brenda sits with Amara at Patricia's table. They're going home tomorrow. Grandma, did we win? Amara asks. Brenda considers the question. Hutchinson resigned. The board passed. But Jerome is still in that facility. Jamal Reed is still dead. We're still here, Brenda says. That's the first win. What's the second? Next time, maybe it won't take a video. Maybe the system works before someone gets hurt. You think it will? I think we made it possible. Outside, evening sounds, cars passing, children playing, ordinary sounds, the kind that happens in a park on a Thursday afternoon. Tomorrow, Brenda returns to her courtroom, back to the work of bending the system toward justice every day. It's not revenge, not closure. It's the work. If this story made you think about who holds power and who holds them accountable, leave a comment. Subscribe if you believe no one should be above the law. Share your story below. Has a gray cardigan moment changed your view on power? Sometimes courage doesn't wear a badge. Sometimes it just wears a gray cardigan and refuses to move.